Welcome to the weekend, Overwatch fans. We are halfway done with week 3, and we have another day of pulse-pounding action on tap for you. We'll start the day with the 2018 champions in the building. That's right, we've got the London Spitfire coming into the day looking to stay undefeated in Stage 2 on their way to a playoff berth. Their opponents, the Boston Uprising, are looking to stay in the playoff hunt and stay above 500. They'll get their chance in less than 30 minutes. Welcome inside the Blizzard Arena. The crowd is already making their way in, and we are here to get you set for all the action. This is the Watchpoint pre-show presented by State Farm. I'm your host, Chris Bucket, and for the second day in a row, we've got the full crew. It's Zoe, it's Sideshow, and an upgraded Brent. We've got Mr. Rex with us.
Yeah, you can't say it's the Brits anymore. I don't qualify for that.
Matt, you dressed Josh today.
Yeah, he's looking fresh. He's looking fresh. I lent him one of my jackets.
I've never felt more me.
Yeah, I feel like this is really you. This
Yeah.
an evolution of you.
The advantage of this is that you can't just rip me all day for
No, it's true. Yeah, you're protecting yourself.
He's wearing his Yeezys under the desk. We'll show those later. Now, we have an awesome show, a jam-packed show planned for you today. It starts with the fusions of Boston Uprising, sitting down with our own Malik Forte to discuss his journey to the Overwatch League and how he became the team's vocal leader. Everyone's favorite Wrecking Ball takes the stage as Among and the Chengdu Hunters get ready to battle the LA Gladiators, and we take a trip to the Watchpoint record store to let you know what you should be blaring out of your speakers this summer. 4 stellar games this afternoon. We kick it off with the Spitfire versus the Uprising. The Shanghai Dragons face a revamped Florida Mayhem. Gladiators face the Hunters, and an old rivalry continues as the Seoul Dynasty face off against the Dallas Fuel. The Dynasty have gotten off to a slow start in Stage 2, but as their playoff victory over the NYXL showed, they can beat anyone. The Fuel got shut out by Vancouver earlier in the week and look to right the ship today. So, Zoe, what are you looking at in today's matchup?
I mean, despite both teams look a little different than what we've previously seen from them, I kind of want to see a rematch of what we had in Stage 1, Week 1, Day 4. I'm glad I remembered all those numbers. I'm really impressed with myself, to be honest. Yeah, very specific. But the players who really stood out for, in the first half, it kind of was Michelle's show, but AKM then really popped off in the second half for the Dallas Fuel. Michelle, however, his Sombra was absolutely phenomenal. He was a really standout player, a really big reason why they made it so close. So if they can rely on Michelle, not just on the Sombra, also on the Diva, and get those hacks off and those crucial EMPs from the Sombra, I do think that the Seoul Dynasty might be able to get their revenge today.
I think the biggest difference between the last time that we saw these two teams and what we've got today is how both of the main tanks have started fitting into this roster. Fissure kind of had some coordination issues, and OG hadn't really come into his own, but now both of these guys are slapping, sometimes literally, because OG's primals have been unbelievable. Earth Shadows from these guys have been crazy as well. This is two teams that are driven by their main tanks, and the clash of Fissure, who's been in the scene for so long, is so well respected, unbelievable individual talent, and OG, who's starting to rise up this year and challenge him as like one of the most mechanically gifted tanks. This is going to be a hell of a game to watch.
Mr. X, one of the 2018 MVP candidates, Flutta, hasn't been in a lineup yet for the Seoul Dynasty in Stage 2. They're also 0-2. Do you think it's time to start playing your star DPS player?
Yeah, I mean, Seoul Dynasty used to do this little trick last year where they needed wins and they would take Flutta out, they would lose, and it didn't really work. And I think they gotta hit up the Atlanta Rain, get those same people that found Daco where he was at. They gotta get those people on this case, get Flutta back in the lineup. You see the team fight win percentage obviously goes up with Flutta in the lineup.
That is a surprise.
I don't think this is a groundbreaking stat. I think this is one you probably could have guessed. But yeah, I want to see Flutta play more. And you feel like, in a meta, which, like a little bit different than Stage 1, where you can play some more damage dealers, he would be a logical person to have in the lineup. We haven't seen him thus far. Hope we see him today.
Put him in today. From one pair of rivals to another, the Spitfire have been on a roll the last 3 weeks and can stay unbeaten with a win today. Boston sits at 2-1 and is currently tied for the last playoff spot. So, Mr. X, are the Uprising right now a playoff caliber team?
When they make the trade with RCK and Node, I actually, just on first initial reaction to the trade, I was like, I don't know if Boston's going to be able to keep a pace to stay in the playoffs, but I think, that they showed to be pretty strong with RCK. I think Sombra's brought in some play. You see right now they sit in 6th. I think you can definitely see the Spitfire, the Fuel potentially moving up and taking that 6th spot.
Yeah.
But you just got to get through the 7 through 12 to get those qualified play-in matches where if they finish in the upper half, the 7th spot, I think they could easily run get one of those final 2 spots for the playoffs. So I'm going to say they do make it in. I think the one thing they get with RCK that they didn't have with Node is a little bit more versatility, where you can play like Sombra at a high level. They can do some other things.
It's almost unfair to say now that we see Note playing Hanzo and all sorts of different things.
that's-
You
yeah.
know, like,
It's kind of weird.
Well, I think you would say RCK's Sombra is better than any of the other heroes we've seen from Node.
yeah.
It's a good argument.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, you do get a little bit more versatility in that regard.
Sideshow, let's talk about the Spitfire, because this team has not dropped a match yet in Stage 2, but is that because of their strong play or weak schedule?
Well, they have had a fairly easy schedule so far, but they haven't played that many teams. The one team that has been impressive that they beat was the Philadelphia Fusion when they went up against them. But they beat Atlanta Reign when they were struggling. They beat the Florida Mayhem. So take a look at this team fight win percentage stat. In Stage 2 so far, yeah, they've had an easy schedule, but it's quite drastically better than it was in Stage 1. And it's not like they had an incredibly tough schedule in Stage 1 as well. It was not like they're getting battered by everybody.
Right.
I think having Gesture able to play the Winston, and the team's just so much more, has so much more experience being able to play around Gesture on the Winston. They know how the team is structured when they do that. So they're starting to click together. I think this is still going to be a tough match, but I think they should be the favorites coming into it.
Yeah, with London, I feel like the last few matches we've seen from them, it was individual players stepping up again, which really impressed me. Mainly Fury. Fury's Diva, all right, I gotta tell you. That is just some next level stuff. It's just so good how he mind games with his Matrix to eat those graphs. And we've seen a lot of great plays coming out from Fury, and rightfully so. He is very much on the top in the leaderboards when it comes to Diva-related metrics. Note was pretty high up himself. However, now we have RCK, and who is arguably a worse Diva. So I would say the Diva battle will definitely go in Fury's favor.
Looking forward to that matchup. On the other side of the break, the Chengdu Hunters Among seems to have a ball on stage. We'll break down his Hammond play next. It's the Watchpoint pre-show presented by State Farm.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Boom, boom, boom. Pile driver. A little bit of aiming, you know, just rolling around, doing the roly-poly maneuvers as he does.
He's the best wrecking ball in the game right now, and he's been buffed here for the new meta.
It is just a joy to watch at this point.
Do you think you're the best wrecking ball in the league?
没错，就是我。
Chengdu just refused to play the game like anyone else, and it is fun to watch.
You gotta love this guy. Among has been wrecking people on the hamster so far this season. He leads the league in hero damage and time to ult, and is in the top half of the league in almost every other wrecking ball stat. Ridiculous stuff. When Among and the Hunters take the stage, they'll go to battle with an LA Gladiator squad. Yeah, Gladiator, there we go. That has been on fire lately. They've won 7 straight games. So, Zoe, what can the Hunters do to slow down LA and possibly knock them from the ranks of the unbeatens?
Well, I think one of the main issues we've seen from the Hunters right now is their kind of lack of ability to play hit scan DPS heroes on a very high level. We've seen Bacon Check dabble on it, but their supposedly hit scan player, Yang Xiaolong, was first not present, and then once he was in, we didn't really see a hit scan coming out of him. And as a result of that, we did see the Hunters struggle a lot against Pharos and the likes of that. So they kind of need to get that versatility, because at this point, you know, you would expect on certain maps to actually see something like a Pharah, so you better be able to deal with it.
Yeah, and it's always so weird when we discuss these Chengdu games because they play such a strange style, and half the teams in the league are like, you can never prep for them, you never know what's going to happen. How can we scrim against another team?
Nobody does it better than the Chengdu Hunters.
Exactly. Nobody plays Wrecking Ball like they do. But then you've got teams like Shanghai who came out like recently, and because they kind of play a scrappy style themselves, and because they have Youngjin who just likes to play Brig, and they have like a Ding, who can kind of play Diva, but then is an incredible Pharah and can go toe-to-toe with Jinmu. They're kind of the perfect team to outplay and give a game plan, a blueprint for how to beat Chengdu.
Well, I think what you've seen from the Hunters thus far is, you know, we've talked about how great the Wrecking Ball is. You know, the one game where, you know, Eamon just came out and became like he played like the best Reinhardt game we've ever seen him play in his entire life against Vancouver. We haven't seen them play Winston yet. So you usually see Winston against, you know, the damage dealer heavy compositions. Hydration Decay could come in today and, you know, get hydration off of Brig. I'm sure he'd be totally okay with that game plan. Put him on the Hanzo, put him on the Pharah. Decay, get him, you know, on heroes
on the
Bastion, right? You know, heroes that are really meta, like the Bastion, right? So no, get him on the Widowmaker, let him like start to pop off. Where what do the Hunters do? The Hunters, like, they run like a 3 tank 3 support with like a Wrecking Ball instead of Winston, but it's not good to really kind of go at solo DPS.
It's pretty weird, actually, because most people, I think most teams would say don't play into the Hunter's style. And I think we've said that on the desk a bunch of times as well.
Hunter up.
Yeah, but it kind of seems like you should. I don't know about you, but it seems like
Shanghai looked the most successful doing exactly that. Out-Cheng-doing
Exactly.
Chengdu.
I think Chengdu are most practiced by playing against the triple tank, triple support. So just go with the crazy.
I want to see an 8 DPS match on the stage. We'll see if we can get that many.
Maybe not that far.
I got to keep this rolling, guys. In our second match of the day, it's 2 teams that look almost nothing like their 2018 versions. We mean literally, the faces are different. The Mayhem sit near the bottom of the standings despite sweeping roster changes, while Shanghai has started to turn around their fortunes from last season. So could the Dragons, that's right, could Shanghai be a playoff team, Zoe?
I can't believe I'm saying that, but you know, it's not completely impossible, I would say, because if we're looking at their schedule, they had the hard matches first and have one more hard one to actually face, which is the last one against Shock. But everything else, more than just a little beatable. Mayhem, Outlaws, Justice. I mean, come on. The way we saw the Dragons playing as of right now against New York, they looked really good against New York. Hunters, they completely rolled over them. And those are 2 good teams. So I do not think that it's completely impossible for them to actually make the playoff.
4-3, you could sneak in.
I mean, their next 3 opponents are combined, what, 5 and 28? You know, those are winnable.
Pretty good odds. Pretty good odds.
I love watching Shanghai play, though, because like we were talking about when they played against Chengdu, DM and Ding are just such a fun DPS duo to watch. I've been high on these guys since I first saw them in the league. And I think, as I've said multiple times before, if you get them on the right heroes, DM and Ding, it could be the best DPS duo in the whole league.
He said that preseason. I heard it.
Ding is the best Pharah in the world right now. He's also got an unbelievable Hanzo. Actually, they both do. DM's been coming out here looking like he's worthy of the name DM, matching alongside Carpe on Tracer, on Widowmaker. If you get them on the right heroes, they're not as flexible. Like, Ding can't play everything. But if you get him on the right stuff, this is a nasty DPS duo and can just power them through games.
Matt, on the other side of the stage, we have the Mayhem, who have made some huge roster changes, some big improvements in theory. But what have you seen from this Florida team?
I mean, we've just kind of seen more of the same. You know, I think they do make some upgrades to the roster in the offseason, but it hasn't resulted in any wins. I mean, you know, they're really struggling as a team. I mean, the one they get is over Philly, but I think this is interesting. So you take a look at the all-time records, you know, Overwatch League teams. The Mayhem have 8 overall wins. The Dragons have 4. 3 of those Mayhem wins, though, come at the hands of the Dragons last year. It's like the Dragons are in a place where they could catch the Mayhem in overall wins, and they went 0-40. last year.
That is
They
unbelievable.
spotted them like a whole season. But I think though, like I think now that like Barehand seems like he has more power with the Florida Mayhem roster, and like you're gonna see, I think you're gonna see changes.
But
I don't know how fast you can make these changes though.
And it'll
like
still
it's gonna
take
be
time.
a process. Yeah,
Even
it's
if they
gonna be
get a
process.
good team, like it still takes time for them to develop the synergy.
I think you-
Florida has a lot to
yeah.
prove today. Make
You
it
build
4
around
wins,
BQB,
Florida.
I
We'll
think.
see if they can get it. On the other side of the break, Malik Forte sits down with the Uprising's Fusions. Stay tuned. It's the Watchpoint pre-show presented by State Farm.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
A relative unknown last year, Fusions has risen from obscurity to make a name for himself in 2019 on the game's biggest stage. Our own Malik Forte sat down with the Boston main tank to talk about his journey to the pros on this edition of On Point.
Fusions, young Cameron, you are new to the Overwatch League. A lot of people are just now discovering you, but you've actually been around Overwatch for a long period of time. I think your journey pretty much encompasses the path to pro. How's it been for you, this long road into the Overwatch League?
I mean, it's been ups and downs. Like, obviously, start of the path to pro when Contenders became a thing. On British Hurricane, Season 1 champions of EU, to Season 2 being relegated to Trials, and then having to work my way back up, then getting signed to two-way, playing another season of Contenders with Uprising Academy. So yeah, it's helped me feel like I deserve to be here more now.
Please welcome Team UK. They've since bolstered their roster with Fusions, a new main tank.
I interviewed Nate Nancer at the end of BlizzCon, and I asked him players to look out for in the future in Overwatch. And he said, well, Fusions really showed up here at the World Cup.
After beating the USA and coming so close with South Korea, it was like, I got so much publicity from that. You just go from like here to all the way up here.
His Discord orbs on Zenyatta, and that's where they're able to make something happen.
When you found out that you were officially a part of the Overwatch League, what was your initial reaction?
To be honest, it was like so quick. It was like a week before the stage started, so I like almost couldn't take it in. Like I was just like, holy crap, I gotta get ready, I gotta go.
Many people have gotten to see you to be a vocal leader.
We're gonna push out with Rally. Same play, we go top, we focus, we push them out with Rally.
Where did that bravado come from?
I've always been quite a vocal person, so it comes quite naturally to me, but I watched and listened to the comms of some other main tanks in Europe at the time, some of the people I really looked up to. I tried to be like the best part of all of those players, and eventually I just became like a confident leader in the teams that I've played in so far.
Talk about the reverse sweeps, because you guys set a record with the amount of times you've pulled off reverse sweeps.
Boys, listen. We reverse sweep twice now, okay? Against Dallas and against Atlanta. Both those times I was confident that we could reverse sweep. This time I'm confident we are going to reverse sweep. 100%. Our team is very, very quick to pick themselves up. No one blames each other. No one blames themselves.
If you can body anybody in the league in a 1v1 Rhyme battle, who would it be?
I really want to get revenge on Bumper.
Okay. Where would you rank yourself among the tanks of the league right now?
I definitely say like I'm competitive with everyone in the league. I don't think there's anyone I can't compete against.
Outside of winning the Overwatch League, what would you guys consider a successful season this year?
I think we want to be a team that makes playoffs in every stage. We want to just get better and better, and by stage 4, by the final playoffs, we want to be like a really, really strong team.
I know there's a lot of Uprising fans that appreciate everything you do, man. So keep rallying the team, man, giving those good battle speeches, man. Thank you for joining us here early in the morning.
No
Your
worries.
first time here on On Point, man.
Here on Watchpoint, we're all music lovers, and we want to share the sweet sounds of the Overwatch League with you, the viewer. So plug in those speakers and take a trip with us to Watchpoint Records, where we have all of your musical needs. Our catalog stretches from Baby Beethoven to Dre KM and Carpe B. That's right. Zoe, why don't you start us off? Who should the people be listening to on the radios this summer?
You know what? We're kicking things off with an easy one. This is a solid pickup, straight out of prison, Notorious BRG. This is gonna make some profit, I can tell you that. Now, the other one I have for you is a bit of a coin toss, really. I've been listening through all the tracks, and it's a bit of a 50-50. Some of them are bangers, some are really good. The rest, you know, Boombox Beatbox Volume 2, the rest is not as good, so you won't necessarily enjoy all of those tracks. There's some high pitches and some very low ones as well. But what we know from them in the past is they are technically a really good crew. They've been jamming pretty well. So I hope they get back to final form.
2 solid albums.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hate on either one. For me, though, I was really listening to this one pretty heavy through the early portions of the season. You know, the Shu-Tang Clan album. But then, it started to really fall off towards the end. The second part of the album was pretty weak. I think, the first 4 or 5 tracks, pretty good. But, Purple Rain here. I mean, this one's a classic, right? I mean, it's a new one here, that we've been bumping this summer. But, Decay has been phenomenal for the LA Gladiators. I think a lot of Gladiators fans kind of torn, right? Having Sherford come out of the lineup, he's like a fan favorite, but Decay's come in and he's played sick on the Zarya. And Zarya is like not even what he's really known for, right? You get him on the Tracer, you get him on the Widowmaker, he can really pop off. I'm excited to see how he plays throughout the remainder of the year.
Definitely a headliner.
Oh, yeah. What is this?
I'm here. I'm rocking. Well, okay, maybe not then. Yeah, do you know what I've been listening to? I've been listening to the hottest rock tunes of the entirety of the Overwatch League. It is Dark Side of the Soon. You want to listen to this one backwards? It's unbelievable. He turns into a top Western player. Okay, but the real hit of 2019 is this. It's Slyman and Garfunkel. He rocks it harder than I rock this. Look at that. He's so good. He's out here booping, got the neck of a turtle, the moves of a frog, slippery like an eel, killing the game out here.
They're all different animals.
Yeah, he's an incredible animal. He's an absolute freak beast. Keep your eye on him. You want to be listening out for his hot tunes throughout 2019.
Super hot. Thank you so much, Rock and Josh. London certainly hopes they can keep rocking stage 2. They take the stage in less than 10 minutes. Our analysts pick that game and more. It's next on the Watchpoint Preshow, presented by State Farm. Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League. Welcome back. Here's a live look at London gearing up and getting ready to go on main stage. I love that new hair. Looking good, Nuss. Take a look at the 2018 champions as they are facing off against some, well, I guess a team you can never count out. They've had multiple reverse sweeps today. They're going up against the former champs and trying to improve to 3-1 here in stage 2. We have time for some back caps. So Zoe, was the Reigns upset last night over the NYXL the biggest in league history?
You know what? Yes. I actually think I can confidently say that this was the biggest we ever had. We did see some mid-level teams or higher mid-level teams to actually defeat some of the top teams. But on this scale, Atlanta Reign was pretty much down on the bottom at this stage. And they took out New York, who up until then has been undefeated. So yes, this must be the biggest
Number
overall.
one, let's get to the predictions. We're running out of time here on the show. Everybody going the same way today. They all love London. It looks like they're picking the Dragons over the Mayhem.
Of course.
I feel it. I feel it. Yep.
They're a good team. They're a good
Where's
team.
it going? Dallas or Seoul? Dallas or Seoul? It's all Dallas right there. And oh, we're finishing with shields up. Everybody loves the Gladiators. Sideshow, no upsets today, but what are you watching for in that Dallas versus Seoul showdown?
Yeah, I may have been possessed by the spirit of Bren there for a moment, but not enough to be able to pick a bunch of the underdogs. In the Dallas-Seoul game, though, I'm definitely looking at that main tank matchup, and I'm looking to see whether Dallas can live up to my optimistic expectations for them. I think that they can be a very good team this year.
Yeah, I'm excited for this match. I want to see if Fleta plays today. They got to get Fleta in the game. I think if you're Seoul, you need to play him today.
Is it a 4-0 without him?
No, I don't think even without him they're that.
It's going to be close.
Yeah,
I mean, we all picked Dallas, but I think we all agree, right? It's going to be really
It's all going to be Dallas. Let us know where you guys have winning this one in the Twitch chat. We're going to break. When we come back, the games kick off. Thanks for watching Watchpoint. We'll be right back.